So you should be here for Web App Builder for ArcGIS, building apps without coding. Normally, I like to show a couple of funny slides, right? So here we have a danger sign. It's pretty obvious. It says, hey, danger, do not touch. But I covered the bottom. Normally, people will see the sign and they will listen and not touch whatever it is that's trying to stop you from touching, right? But for some people who are more curious and ignore the danger sign, the sign makes it very clear. Not only will this kill you, it will be very painful the entire time. Okay, so don't touch it. I'm a science fiction fan. In the US, we have this channel called the Sci-Fi Channel, right? And they show science fiction movies. Everyone with me so far, those of you from the US? My wife laughs at me because the channel shows like, goofy movies like giant lobsters attacking people or Sharknado, so sharks that are flying in a tornado attacking people, etc. I'm giving you context. This is taken in Australia. You see the sign, it says nuclear power plant, right? Now, if you see what's underneath it, I would probably turn right based on those giant monster movies, okay? Have another one here. This is more spatially inclined because we are at a GIS conference studying geography, right? Do I turn left or do I turn right? We have another one here. You get to this spot, and then I have no idea where I'm going to go next. Okay. We have another sign. This one is taken in New Zealand. You can see the route is pretty complicated. And I think the construction crew who made the roadways acknowledged that because they put a little thing saying, hey, good luck. Thank you for coming. Okay. All right, now because it's the end of the day, and this is the end of a very long day for me with my sessions, I have this next slide. This is rated PG-13. So I don't want to get in trouble with HR. If you do not like horror movies, cover your eyes. If you have a weak stomach, just cover your eyes. I just want to preface this by saying this is rated PG. It's not for the faint of heart. And again, this is for amusement purposes only. I'm just making jokes. I don't really mean what I'm going to show. Okay? I have 2 kids. I love my kids. Let me just say that as well. Okay? So this is a sign taken in a national park, Southeast Asia. It's a sign that says, tips to deal with a mountain lion on the hiking trail. What should you do? Mountain lions are pretty fierce animals. Number 1, don't show fear. Back away slowly. Number 2, be large and shout. Scare it like a bear, right? And now there's this third tip. And remember, this is rated PG-13. If you have a weak stomach, if you don't like horror movies, look away. All right? Third option is this. If you are walking with small children, throw them at the mountain lion and run away. Okay? Again, humor, demo purposes only, not only meant in jest. All right. And with that, I have 3:16. I think we will get started. Whoops. All right. So thank you guys for showing up. You should be here for Web App Builder for ArcGIS, building applications with no coding. My colleague Jinsha Song is here. She's one of the lead product engineers for Web App Builder, so you have an amazing technical resource here. My name is Derek Law, and I work with the team. And we're here to talk about Web App Builder. Okay? So what are we going to cover in the next hour? Well, let me ask you this. How many people are using Web App Builder now? A few of you. Okay, that's cool. Now, this has been billed as an introductory session. We want to make sure that when you leave here, you understand what Web App Builder for ArcGIS is. So for those of you who are using the product, some of this may be a bit of a review. For those of you who are not using the product, this is the session for you. Life is good. By the end of this session, hopefully you'll be convinced that Web App Builder is the greatest thing since sliced bread. It is awesome. Okay? We're going to cover these topics. We'll talk about what it is and what you can do with it. It's an application that will allow you to build a brand new web app without writing any code. And it's got quite a robust suite of functionality. And the team is working very hard to improve it with every single release. We'll also highlight some of the new capabilities that we added in the June release. So we'll talk about the product, we'll give you a tour, we'll also show you what's new. We'll then spend the second half of the session talking about customization in one of two ways. What you can do with third-party widgets, so little pieces of code that other people make that you can use with Web AppBuilder. And also we'll briefly mention, but we won't go into too much detail, what you can do as a developer, right? The great thing about Web AppBuilder is, yes, Esri makes it, but we actually have a large community of users actively using it now. And we'll mention some resources that are available to you. And at the end of the session, Jinsha and I will be here to answer questions. You can also find the Web AppBuilder development team in the expo downstairs at the ArcGIS area under the Web AppBuilder station. Okay? Which, by the way, closes tomorrow at 1:30. So, let's get started. You've seen this Web GIS pattern slide, right? This shows the ArcGIS platform with the Web GIS pattern. You know that you have client applications on top. It could be desktop apps, could be apps on mobile devices or tablets, or web apps, and they search and discover GIS resources through a portal. Note the lowercase p. So it could be ArcGIS Online, or it could be Portal for ArcGIS. And a portal is my central destination point for all of my GIS resources. Could be my data, my web services, my maps, my apps. A portal is only useful if it has data content, and it's typically powered by GIS servers. The point of this session is we are going to talk about Web AppBuilder, which is a client application that works with content in a portal. So I want to make sure we're all level set. This is what we're talking about here. Now, Esri has many different app solutions, right? We have many different offerings. You can use the application templates. You can use Web AppBuilder. You can build your own application with the ArcGIS API for JavaScript. Many different offerings that are available. Apps that run in the web, apps that run on smartphones and mobile devices. And you saw Gene mention this Monday during the plenary. We're going to focus on apps that you build for the web apps. Now, your first option, if you're inside an ArcGIS Online organization, or if you're using Portal for ArcGIS, is you can make a web map and then take that web map and hydrate it into a configurable template, right? There's between 25 to 30 different configurable templates. They are all built on the ArcGIS API for JavaScript. And when you go to this wizard, you can pick between many different templates. They are designed for focused workflows. For example, I have a template for data editing. I have a template for showing data changes over time. I have a template for comparing two different data sets, etc. And that's great. Templates work. They're a quick fix. They can address your needs. However, in some instances, we've had customers ask us, can I have function X from template 1 combined with function Y and template 2? In other words, I may want to mix and match functionality. Can I do that? Or can I incorporate more advanced workflows or capabilities? The answer is yes, absolutely. You can do that with Web AppBuilder for ArcGIS, right? This is another application, allows you to build apps without programming. Built into ArcGIS Online and or Portal for ArcGIS, and we also have a developer edition. What makes Web AppBuilder great is that it's got an amazing user experience, and it's built on widgets. So these widgets, think of them like Lego blocks. You pick and choose which Lego blocks that you want to build your app. Okay, so lots of flexibility here. So Web AppBuilder for ArcGIS, again, functionality built within an ArcGIS Online organization or Portal for ArcGIS. And just for historical purposes, we've had it available for a little over a year. So it was added in ArcGIS Online in December 2014. And it's available in Portal at the 10.3 release or later. The key takeaway is if If you are not a developer, life is good. This tool makes our job a heck of a lot easier for us to build powerful apps to meet our business requirements. Another great thing about it that I love is it's got a what you see is what you get user experience. If you look at this screenshot on the left, so that big box on the left, on the right part of the display, we can preview live real-time all our changes. As we make changes to our parameters in the left part of the dialog, they will be applied and we can see how it looks. This is fantastic. I don't have to build a bunch of things and then compile it and see it. It just works. It shows up right away. We also support 2D and 3D content. In fact, Web AppBuilder is the only client application offered by Esri today where you can build an app for 3D web scenes without writing any code. With the other applications, and I'm not knocking them, they are fantastic, you will have to write some custom code to make it work. So life is good here. I can work in 2D and I can work in 3D, right? The 2D apps work on any device in any browser. It's built on the ArcGIS API for JavaScript. It also factors in HTML5 responsive design. So when I build that app, I can see how it looked on a tablet or on a mobile phone. Now, it's also extensible. Anyone here a developer? Okay, a couple. If I'm a developer and I write code with the ArcGIS API for JavaScript, and perhaps Web AppBuilder doesn't quite do what I want, I can extend it by writing custom code or creating custom widgets. It's pretty powerful. It's very extensible. So there are two options to work with Web AppBuilder for ArcGIS. The first is within ArcGIS Online, or I can go into Portal for ArcGIS, right? The application is actually embedded within the home app. The second option is I can use Developer Edition. This is a separate download. I go to developers.arcgis.com, I go to the Web AppBuilder link, and I can download the code for Web AppBuilder Developer Edition. It will install locally on my machine. Then I open it up, and then I sign into a portal, whether it's ArcGIS Online or Portal for ArcGIS, and we're going to show this to you, and then I can make it work with my portal. Even though we have these two different offerings, they both have 98% or 99% the same user experience. That's awesome. So if I'm a non-developer, I work with it in a certain way in the builder environment. But if I'm a developer, I can also work with it in a similar way within the builder environment. And we're going to demonstrate this to you later on in this session. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. We have this live sites group, right? In fact, let me show you. We have this group available where we have many customer testimonials who are using Web AppBuilder. I'm just going to go to the help documentation here. And if I click Live Sites Showcase, you can see that we started off a year ago. I apologize. Thank you. And you can see here we have many live customer apps running. You can click on any one of these swatches and it will redirect you to these customer sites. Now there's about 50. These are the apps that we have permission to share with people. They range from a variety of different use cases, from the classic parcel viewer to mapping gardens in Japan to finding a route location across a university campus to monitoring snowplows. Okay, so in fact, we've tried really hard to kind of also show that we can support many different languages as well. So this is a great resource to check it out. Hopefully this will flip back. But you don't have to take my word for it. The numbers speak for themselves. We started counting metrics, right? So back in June of last year, we had over 10,000 apps built on Web AppBuilder hosted in ArcGIS Online. And as of May, so as of last month, we have over 111,000 apps hosted in ArcGIS Online. Unfortunately, I don't have permission to reference them all. That's the thing. And if you have an app built on Web AppBuilder, please let me know. I would love to feature it in our showcase. Okay. So what about Developer Edition? Do we have a bunch of downloads? Absolutely. Right? We started off with version 1.0 last year. It had over 6,500 downloads, and as you can see, over time, we have a bunch of downloads as well. These might be developers, or these might be regular users who are not developers, but they want to incorporate third-party custom widgets in their solutions. Okay? It's pretty awesome. We also have a very, bless you, active user community. Right? So on GeoNet, we actually have 3 places, but here we have 2 identified. One is the Web AppBuilder for ArcGIS discussion forum. The other one is the Web AppBuilder custom widgets discussion forum. And as you can see, they're ranked number 2 and number 6. And just to give you context, there's over 380 different forums or places on GeoNet. So it's pretty powerful, right? I think we're beat by like ArcGIS Desktop and one of the large massive online courses, the MOOC courses. Okay? So we have a very active user community building custom widgets. In fact, there are developers. I know there's one gentleman named Robert Scheitlin. He's not at this conference here, but it's his hobby to write widgets and create custom code. He's a grandfather, lives on a farm, his grandkids are away. That's what he likes to do. He is phenomenal, is on there answering questions. The development team is also on there answering questions because they're passionate about the project. Now you can see at the bottom here, there's a whole bunch of custom widgets submitted by our developer community, and there's over 2,300 downloads. So how do I get started? What do I do to start building a web app, right? Very simple workflow. This is a screen capture of one of the help topic pages. I decide if I want to make a new app. And I decide if I want to make it a 2D app or a 3D app. We're going to demo both, right? I then pick a style. In other words, I pick the look and feel of the app. I then pick my map, the data content that I want to show in the app, and then I can start to add widgets. And really, bullet number 4, I personally feel, is really the power of Web AppBuilder. I configure my attributes. Do I want to add a custom logo, give it a custom title, etc., and I create the app. Let's take a look at the software. So you can see I'm in ArcGIS Online. I've signed into my organizational account. And what you're looking at here is the ArcGIS Online Map Viewer. I just happen to have a web map showing points of interest for the city of Salzburg in Austria. And just something I want to mention is web maps are pretty powerful. They are configuration files behind the scenes that store how my data is rendered and also some behaviors. For example, if I click on this museum icon, notice I have little pictures of the museum. Okay? Let me click on this one here, and you can see a picture here. I mentioned this to you because I want to kind of highlight the power of web maps across our stack. Now, I could share this web map with people and say, hey, open up this web map and you can access the data. Or I could quickly and easily build a brand new web application. I simply click the Share button, and I can decide to create a web app. I click this button here, and it brings me to this window. And you saw this earlier, where I can decide, do I want to use a configurable application template? I have between 25 and 30 different options. They are designed for focused workflows like data comparison, data editing, showing data changes over time, etc. Or I can use Web AppBuilder, right? So I'll give it a name. I'll call it Points of Interest UC App. Copy that from my title, and I click Get Started. Right away, this opens up Web AppBuilder, which is built inside ArcGIS Online. And as you'll see, it's got a really nice user experience. On the right-hand side is a real-time preview of my app as I'm building it. On the left-hand side are all the different parameters that I can change and configure to build my own custom application, right? So as a general rule, when I start to build a web application, there's 3 things I want to think about. Number 1, the look and feel. Number 2, the data content. And number 3, the functionality. So to start off with, I can go to the Theme tab and choose the look and feel. Now, pay attention to the right-hand side as I click through these different themes. You'll see now the application styles differently, right? It changes. I have this box theme. I have this Dart theme where I have the panel at the bottom. I can choose a tab theme where I have a little bit of a border, or this plateau theme, which is a modernist approach. I happen to like the Launchpad theme, which gives me that kind of fake Mac OS-like UI. You can see the widgets are at the bottom, right? In addition to that, I can further refine the colors, the style. Now, it might seem like I only get blue and brown, but something I am so happy the team made, because I've been asking for a very long time, is we have this awesome color picker. I can pick what color I want. This is great. So now maybe I choose red here. Whoops, no, I want this one. Pick it, right? Hit apply. Let's get a brighter red. Hit apply. And you see that gets changed right away. Ooh, look at that, live real time. I can change my widgets, right? But in continuing that look and feel theme, I'm going to go to my attribute tab. And maybe I want to add a custom logo to brand my app. So I'll click in here, and I'll browse to my Salzburg city symbol and add it. Notice now the logo on the upper left, it's already there. Okay, it's pretty fantastic. Now I could add hyperlinks to go to maybe the city of Salzburg tourism page if I want to. I can save the app state. I could access premium content. So maybe I'm accessing a geo-enrichment service from ArcGIS Online. I can certainly configure that. Another option I have is if I go to the Map tab, I can modify the data content. So I could click Choose Web Map and then decide, well, you know what? I want to build an app for a different web map. And it honors the data that I have access to within my portal. So all the web maps that I own, all the web maps within my organization, or I could go to a group or access a public web map, right? For now, though, I'm going to leave my data content, so I'll hit Cancel. This is really what I'm going to show next is the power of Web AppBuilder, which is what I love. I have this widget link, and here I can pick what widgets I want. Think of a widget as a chunk of code. Each widget can do some specific capability. So I have a whole collection of Lego blocks, and I can decide how few or how many widgets that I want in my application. You'll notice these ones that are showing on the left, they are part of my UI. So as I hover over it, watch the search one, you can see in the upper toolbar, the search widget appears in red. Do you guys see that? I shouldn't have chosen a red border, but you get the idea, right? Now watch, I could click this eye icon and remove it from my interface. Or if I want, I simply hover over it again, click it back. Do you guys see that? Okay, so it's all there, right? If I go to my coordinate widget, look in the lower left-hand corner, again, it hides in red. Do I want to show those coordinates? Either add or remove them. But maybe I want to add some more widgets to my controller, so I'll scroll down and I'll click widget 1. Notice as I hover over widget 1, it gets highlighted in the upper right-hand corner. I click it, and now I have access to the entire library of core widgets that we offer. And the team has done an amazing job. Every release, they add more widgets. And it's not just the Web AppBuilder dev team, although I love them. We work with our other development teams. So other development teams who also think this is cool, like the imagery raster team or the solutions team, they will build widgets. And if it's popular enough, we incorporate it into core. So it's a whole, even within Esri community, working within this framework. So I'm going to add a couple of widgets. For example, I will add the query widget. Sometimes people want to do queries, right? I click OK, and then I configure it. I have this user experience now. Now, to finish my story, I'm building an application for tourists to find points of interest in the city of Salzburg. Maybe I'll build a query. Maybe I want them to pick or find a museum, so I'll choose the museum layer that's in my web map, click OK. Now I have this interface, right? And I can add a filter. I'll click Configure, and I can add a filter expression. For example, chances are more than not, tourists will want to find search in my app for the name of a specific museum. That makes sense, right? So I'll ask for a value, and I'll choose unique value, and we have this drop-down list of all my museum names. Click OK. I could set some other filter settings if I wanted to, right? They've enhanced this widget. But for now, I'll click OK, and I'm good. And here's my widget. Okay. Now I have a couple of options here. I'm going to keep building widgets and demo them for you. But if I wanted to, this is the beauty of the what you see is what you get user experience. If I want to check if it works, I can actually click on it. Okay, I should not have chosen red. I apologize. But here I can pick the museum that I want. Okay, let me pick that. Execute. Find my museum. And I can click on it. And notice now, oh, this one doesn't have an image. What I wanted to show, that one doesn't either. Let me find another one. Remember how I showed this pop-up in the ArcGIS Online Map Viewer? That was a behavior that I saved with my web map. What I want to reinforce is any behaviors that I set in my web map, they are honored and respected by Web AppBuilder. Life is good. This is cool, right? That non-GIS expert working with the ArcGIS Online Map Viewer, he or she makes a web map. Maybe I have no idea what that data is about, but I build a web app around it. All those settings are honored. That's awesome. Okay? So that's one widget. What's another tool that I might use for this application? Well, let me go back. I will use the Near Me widget. Click OK. And this widget is pretty cool. I can basically specify or find something around a location that I pick on the point. So I will set the search layer. Maybe I'll search for all of these museums, libraries, and sports venues, right? Do I only want to draw the selection or maybe draw a buffer around what I'm going to search for? I'll change the rendering and I'll make it green. And maybe I'll make it 50% transparent. Click OK. And maybe what I want to do is for this widget, someone might want to walk between half a kilometer to 1 whole kilometer. So I'll change the units to km. We are in Europe. They use metric, not like the US, right? And here's my symbol for that featured for that selected feature. So I click OK. And again, I have my Near Me widget. Now I can zoom out, right? And if I click in here, I click somewhere in my display. If I click here, what can I see or what's nearby me between half a kilometer to a kilometer? And here's my result. So my features are selected. More importantly, in this widget, it shows me I have 6 museums, 8 libraries. I can actually click here. I totally apologize for the red. And I can view my content or my selected features. Okay. Another one that I could add is, for example, share. This is another new widget that we added in July. I'm building this application. There's no other configurations, but what can I do? Well, I have this app. Maybe if a tourist finds this application after I host it, hey, this is pretty cool. I want to share it with my friend or other friends that I'm vacationing with here. I can click the share widget, and now I can send them the URL to this application. Or if I'm building another website, maybe I'm building a tourism website for the city of Salzburg, I can actually embed this app as an iframe. More importantly, I can take the default settings, or I can click in here and change my other options. Okay? When I'm done with my app, I hit save, and now I can launch it. Here it is. It's running. It's that easy. The app by default, yeah, that's later. The app by default is hosted in Portal, it's hosted in ArcGIS Online. Now, if I'm a developer and maybe I want to add something more custom, we allow you or we enable you to take that code for that app and you can download the source code for that app and make further modifications. This is awesome, folks. I no longer have to bug Jin Shah to, can you make this code for me? I can now actually do it myself. This is awesome. You don't have to tell your managers how long it takes for you to do this, right? Okay? So that is pretty powerful. Let's go back to the slides. Now that was a quick tour. And you can see here we have over 40 plus widgets made by the core development team and also contributed by other development teams. Of course, we plan on adding more widgets over time with more releases. Give us feedback. Come to the ArcGIS Online area, to the Web AppBuilder station. Tell us what you would like. Right? I can't promise we'll build everything, but we do our best. The team works very hard. They're very responsive. Now, just as an FYI, we have many core widgets that support some of the key fundamental properties for doing a web application or a GIS application, right? So select data, adding data, navigation, building queries, right? A legend, doing editing. We have a widget for geoprocessing. I didn't demonstrate this to you, but it's pretty powerful. You can make a model in ArcMap. You can share that model in ArcMap as a geoprocessing service in ArcGIS server. You can then reference that geoprocessing service with the geoprocessing widget in Web AppBuilder. And the widget is smart enough to detect all the required inputs and outputs of this model, so it will allow the web app end user to leverage that geoprocessing functionality that you've shared in the geoprocessing service. That's huge. Yes, sir? So the question is, if I do that, does it consume credits? The answer is, it depends. Here's what I mean. What does that spatial model do, right? If it doesn't use an analysis tool from ArcGIS Online, then it won't consume credits. We actually have an analysis widget. If this model, it depends on what this model does. I want to say chances are more than not, it does not consume credits, because you're not going to make a model that references an ArcGIS Online service. Here's the other thing. Web AppBuilder is pretty cool. We have 2D, but we also support 3D. We have some core widgets, and we're continuing to add new capabilities to support 3D web scenes. Now, just to make sure we're all on the same page, inside ArcGIS Online or Portal for ArcGIS, we have a web map. This is a configuration file that stores references to our data for 2D data. We also have what's called a web scene. It's another configuration file that typically references 3D scene layers or scene services. Okay? You can open up a web scene in Web AppBuilder, and I'll show you in a minute, and you can build a 3D app. And right now we don't have a lot of 3D widgets, but we're adding more. For you to build a 3D application to display your 3D data without writing any code. This is huge. Now, something else I want to mention is, because we're built on the ArcGIS API for JavaScript, and we factored in the HTML5 responsive design, for 2D apps, we also basically allow you to preview how that application will look on a mobile device or on a tablet. Here's what I mean. Let me go back to Web AppBuilder inside ArcGIS Online. And here it's how it looks inside a web browser. That's fantastic. But notice in the lower left-hand corner, I have this previews link. I can click here, and now, oh, look, this is how my app would look in a browser on, let's say, the iPhone 6 or an iPad Air. And it's not just this, but I can actually open up a widget and see how that looks as well. This is awesome. This is where you go, ooh, like this. It's phenomenal, right? If your manager says, I want to see how it looks on a tablet, okay, give me 2 days. Go on vacation for 2 days, come back, and show them this. Okay? You get all the tricks from Derek, right? Life is good. Let's quickly kind of recap what the team added in the recent June update. This was literally last week, right? We updated last week. Okay? The team added several new widgets. We'll do that. So there's an add data widget, which now will allow you to add REST endpoints on top of your web map in Web AppBuilder. This is huge. A lot of customers have asked for this. You can browse for content within ArcGIS Online, within your organization. The raster imagery team built an oblique viewer widget, which allows you to look at image service data in that kind of 3/4 angle view. I already showed you the share widget, which allows you to quickly share your finished app, right? We support those social media options like Facebook, through email, or through Google. We also have a select widget, which allows you to do feature selection. And then you can do things with that feature selection, like generate statistics, or export those features as JSON or to a CSV file. We have a bunch of options listed. Right? We also have this Smart Editor widget. Let me show this to you. This is pretty cool. The solutions team built this. And what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to quit out of Web AppBuilder briefly, go to my content, and I'm going to open up a different application that I've started to build. So let me just go to UC 2016. I will open up this water network map. So I'll open it in the map viewer. So here we can see we have some network data, right, showing a water network for a city. And now I'm going to share it, click Create Web App, go into Web AppBuilder, and just call this Water Network UC App. It's that easy to access Web AppBuilder. And what I want to show is this Smart Editor widget. Okay? So what you're looking at here is a web map with many feature services of the different water network components. I'm just going to go straight to widget here, and I'll click this button, and I'll add the Smart Editor widget. Okay. Now, this dialog may seem intimidating initially, but actually it's not. And the point I want to emphasize is we give you a lot of flexibility and control on how you want to define the editing user experience in Web AppBuilder, right? You can decide, well, which layers are editable? More importantly, do I want to only allow updates, allow deletes, disable geometry editing? Do I want to provide a description for someone who's editing? I can provide some text there. Which fields do I want them to be able to see and for them to be able to make edits on? I also have some general settings, right? Do I want to allow templates? Do I want to prompt to save unsaved edits? Or do I want to prompt or confirm a delete? This is critical so we can reduce the amount of error being introduced in our data. I can leave the default and click OK. And I just want to briefly show you that if I click on this, you'll see we have this template editing user experience. This is very similar to doing feature editing in ArcMap and ArcGIS Pro. Right? This is awesome. That's across that entire ArcGIS platform stack, from the desktop now to the web. Everyone with me so far? This is good. We're making it uniform. Man, that's a tough crowd. They're not impressed. This stuff is cool to me. Okay? It's been a long day, folks. This is my 4th session. I feel like I have more energy than you guys. What else is new? That custom color picker, which I showed earlier, right? I love that tool. That is awesome for branding purposes. Okay? And also, we've changed the user experience for adding premium content from ArcGIS Online. We make it easier. Now, we added enhancements to the 3dFX widget. I don't know if you caught this, but these 2 GIFs were actually used in the plenary session on Monday morning. But I'm going to show you how easy it is to make a 3D app. Okay? Seriously. Now you're thinking 3D, there's a Z elevation, it's pretty complicated. Actually, no. The team has worked really hard to make it a very nice, elegant user experience. Let me quit out of Web AppBuilder. I'll go to My Content. Okay? Go to My Content, and if I want to access Web AppBuilder to make 3D apps, you have to go through this route currently. We're going to modify that in a future release. But what I would do is I'm going to hit Create an app using Web AppBuilder, and now it's going to ask you, do you want to make a 2D or a 3D app? I'll say 3D. I'll give it a title. Whoops. World Bank Data Viewer. And I'll copy my tags and my description. Hit OK. Open up Web AppBuilder and look at this. The user experience for building a 3D app for Web AppBuilder is like 99% the same as the user experience for building a 2D app. Only instead of using a web map, you're using a web scene. Very responsive. Ooh, this is awesome, right? And I could go through the same thing, like look and feel, functionality, etc. But let's skip to the interesting stuff. I'm going to pick a scene right now, right? So I'll choose a web scene. I happen to know there's a public one, in ArcGIS Online called World Bank. I'll pick it and add it. So here's my web scene. It's got some points here, data from the World Bank. And what I'm going to show quickly, I see my steering isn't very good. Let me fix that. Is I'm going to add a widget, right? Just like with 2D apps, we give you a bunch of widgets that are like Lego blocks. We plan on increasing more over time. I'm going to pick this 3DFX widget. I'll click OK, and I'm going to configure it. I get different types of visualization. But for now, because I've done this, I'm going to hide this option, display based on country, and I can display different attributes within that web scene. In this case, I will visualize, let's say, life expectancy, and I'll call this life expectancy. I'll add one more. I'll choose unemployment, and I'll call this unemployment. Whoops. Change the colors, hit OK. So here's my app. I could open up the 3D. Let me save it, and I'll launch it. Actually, I won't launch it. I'll run. OK, I wanted to change something, but I'll do that. I'll launch the app. OK. I apply the 3DFX widget. Here it is. Ooh, thank you, yeah. I could hit this play button so it spins and rotates. Looks very cool. Okay. Obviously, I'm not clever enough to have complex data to show a real cool app. I'm sure you guys can do a better job, but you guys get the point. Right? Now, this is one effect. I could close this and go back and reconfigure the widget to maybe show this bounce effect. Let's do that. So I get more of a pulsating effect. Sorry?
Save.
Save?
You didn't save?
I didn't say, okay. Let me save it, sorry. Sorry. Let's try that again. Okay? You guys get the idea. All right? So 3D, very cool. You can enable it without writing any code. All right. When I use Web AppBuilder inside ArcGIS Online or Portal for ArcGIS, something you should be aware of is Web AppBuilder will honor the available utility services inside ArcGIS Online or Portal for ArcGIS. What you're seeing here is a screen capture of the configuration panel for Portal for ArcGIS. Looks very similar to ArcGIS Online. Perhaps I added a custom locator service to my organization, or I added a custom print service, or I enabled custom base maps. Well, these three widgets here will also detect those resources, and I can leverage them in my web apps. That's the point of this slide. Now, when I save and deploy my app in Web AppBuilder, by default, it lives inside ArcGIS Online or Portal for ArcGIS. As I mentioned earlier, you can download the code for that app and host it in your own web server if you want to. And if you're a developer, you can modify the application. Let's change gears now and talk a bit about customization. Now, when we talk about customization, there are basically two different levels, right? You can be a configurator where you don't write code, but you take a custom widget that somebody else built and you can enable it inside Web AppBuilder. Or you could be a developer where you do write code and you write your own custom theme or custom widget. In the first option, what do? Well, I can download the source code for the application. I could download a custom widget if I wanted to. And I can then, I can take, if I want to take a custom widget or theme in my app, what do? I take my application from ArcGIS Online or Portal for ArcGIS, download the custom source code. Then take it and put it inside my own web server. Then I can go under the covers to modify it by adding a widget. And we have a help topic that talks about this. Okay? Now, there are many different custom widgets available. This is a screen capture here of the GeoNet community. These are users who, out of their own time, have made custom widgets, and then they share it with the public, with the larger community. There's over 35 different widgets. And you can go to this URL. If you need a copy of this PowerPoint, just email me and I'll send it so you have the URL. And you can search for widgets. Okay. Now, the Esri Solutions team and Raster Imagery team have also enabled custom widgets. They have a couple of GitHub repositories. Now, these widgets, 9 times out of 10, will work. Maybe they're not quite 100% perfect yet. Right? So they're not guaranteed to work, but they most likely will work. But you can also download these widgets and have them work with Web AppBuilder. Now, for me to do that, we recommend that you can use Web AppBuilder Developer Edition. Right? This is that second option on how you use Web AppBuilder. So you go to developers.arcgis.com and you can download Web AppBuilder. You unzip it, and it gives you a framework for you to, apply custom widgets and use them in the builder experience, or you can start to build your own custom widgets. Uses the ArcGIS API for JavaScript, and Web AppBuilder will run locally on your own machine. Now, when you open up Web AppBuilder Developer Edition, it's going to ask you to please sign in and connect to a portal. It could be ArcGIS Online, or it could be Portal for ArcGIS. And one of the things it's going to ask for is an app ID. In other words, what you have to do is take Web AppBuilder Developer Edition and register it with your portal. That way, Portal knows and trusts the person using Web AppBuilder Developer Edition, right? So Jin Shaw is going to show you how to do that in a demo in a little bit. Do you want to do it now? Let's flip. I think you are 4.
So basically, as Derek said, to get Developer Edition, go to developers.arcgis.com here, and then go to Configurable Apps and App Builder, Web App Builder. You can see downloads here. You get, this needs sign in. It's fine. So you get download. Public account works as well. Download and then get zip file. So this developer here has all the guide about how you get started. So all the documentation is here. I already downloaded one on my local computer. So it's in this directory. It's a zip file. I unzip it. Then go to this directory. I start. Click Stop Update. There will, the back end of the server is Node.js. So then the power, the front end, Web App Builder. It's just locally installed on my computer. So now is it, okay, I need to specify my organization, right? If I'm using online, I'm using, this one's online, but if you're using Portal, Portal for ArcGIS, you can specify your portal for ArcGIS. Just want to make sure if you're using online require app ID. But for the portal for ArcGIS, if you're using IWA, PKI, secure services, you don't need app ID. So it's difference between online and on-premises. Here I'm using ArcGIS Online, so I need app ID. How can I get app ID? So of course you go to this question mark, you get no documentation about how to do that. I'm going to show you. So if I go to my content, so Esri Dev Beijing, this is my org on ArcGIS Online. I go to add content. It's in application. Then the URL I'm using is this one. Then title, you see ID. Add an item to ArcGIS Online. It's interesting. So this is UC app ID. This the new item detail page. If you know what ArcGIS Online, you know before UC release, the item detail page is different. Right now, the online team, make 3 release effort to make this item detail page much better. So give it a try. So here, I need to go to the settings. And here is register. I need registered app. Now it's browser type. Okay, I leave as it is. Redirect URI is important because sometimes we're using HTTPS or HTTP. In this case, I add both, just in case I have both services. Oh, I didn't add that one in, but it's okay. As you see, I can get app ID and app secret. What we need to know is app ID. So we copy paste here, go to here, say continue. Then already logged in, so approved. I'm inside Web AppBuilder, Developer Edition. Now I say, okay, I want to create a new one. It's 2D or 3D. I pick 2D first, then give thumbnail. Nike, for example. Oh, too big. And choose another one. So I can do a lot of things about these thumbnails. Okay. The title. That means I have another.
We call it UC2.
Okay. I will fix it later. So that's how you register app ID to get app started. Then next step, I will show you how to create app from Developer Edition and leverage someone else custom widget put inside my app.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay. Hopefully it's. I am sorry. Try this. Let's try one more. I apologize. Okay, so to recap, if you want to use Web AppBuilder Developer Edition, which you can, what you want to do is register it with ArcGIS Online or Portal for ArcGIS. And as you saw, the way you do it is you have to get an app ID, right? How do you do that? Inside your ArcGIS Online organization or Portal for ArcGIS, you want to make a new item type called Web AppBuilder. And then you generate that app ID, which you then copy into Web AppBuilder Developer Edition so it knows to talk to your organization. Okay? Now, if you're a developer, you can certainly extend Web AppBuilder, right? We have this slide here where you can create your own widgets or themes. They are part of the STEM app, and they work with the Builder GUI together to create a configurable application. This is purely a conceptual slide. There are other technical sessions that go into much more detail on how you can configure and extend and customize Web AppBuilder. Now, if you decide to be a developer and you want to create custom widgets, here are the different pieces that you may need to be concerned with, right? You got to write code in the ArcGIS API for JavaScript. You may want to use HTML and CSS to configure its appearance. You want to make sure, of course, you can code the specific functionality. What is that widget going to do? And the configuration is in JSON. And you also have to configure or build or take into account how will that widget look in terms of user experience inside Web App Builder? Like, how do you want that dialog to look? What kind of properties do you want an end user to be able to configure? By the same token, the other piece, of course, is the theme, right? The look and feel. You saw in the demo earlier, I had, I think it was like 6 or 7 different themes, right? Do I want those borders? Do I want that Mac OS look? Do I want the modernist approach? You can create those custom themes as well, right? How is that layout going to appear? What kind of branding options do you want your end user to be able to do? What are the behavior of the panels? In other words, within the theme itself, do you want some widgets to be open by default or be part of the UI? Styling, color, and also what are some default widgets in that theme? Okay. And I know for sure we have 2 different demo theaters, one called Building a Custom Widget in 15 minutes. Certainly would take me longer. Another one is how to create your own custom themes for Web App Builder. I'm not sure if they've already happened, but we do have a slide near the end of this session which lists some of the other Web App Builder related technical sessions. Are you good?
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, we're going to flip to another demo. Jinshaw already showed you how to activate, if you will, or enable Web App Builder Developer Edition to talk to your organization. Next, what she's going to show is how you would take a custom third-party widget made by one of our most active community members, Robert Scheitlin, and make it work inside the Builder experience.
Yeah. So this is when I open this web application I built in Developer Edition, just very similar to this one. This is the UI, right? I open Editor here. You see the look and feel of the app exactly like you will see in ArcGIS Online. This one run locally on my computer. So you see, this one just layer list and the legend. So I want to add someone else code here. This is not good enough for me. Also, you can do things like add a custom, all the widgets from here as Derek showed. It's all available. All the out-of-box widgets available. But it's not good enough. That's okay. So I go to GeoNet, get someone search. In the Robert widget, they have a pop-up panel. As you see here, when I have a pop-up here, these are, I already put the widgets here, there. So usually you see the pop-up as demo show in the viewer, the pop on the feature, right? I don't like that part. So I go to this GeoNet, I download a community pop-up. This one, the zip file. Then in my computer here, this is the pop-up panel. I unzip it and then copy it. Go to my Developer Edition, Web App Builder here. It's 2.1 and client. I go to the Stamp app. Stamp app is for the 2D. Stamp app 3D is for 3D widget. So I go to the Stamp app. I go to the widgets folder and copy paste. So you will see my pop-up panel is here, just like all other out-of-box widget. Then I'm done. I go to my test application, refresh browser. I should be able to, this one should be able to see here. Then I say, okay, click here. They will see pop-up on the left panel instead of here. That's how easy you can leverage someone else's custom widgets into your Developer Edition. You don't need to be developers. You just need to put those, download the widget, unzip it, and put them into the widgets folder. That's it.
And just so you know, one of our users is named Robert Scheitlin. He makes great widgets. I mean, 99% of the time, it always works. And if there's an issue, he will fix it. So he's a phenomenal member of the community. I would hazard to say that I would trust his custom widgets. They work really, really well. Has anyone used the widget by Robert Scheitlin? Yeah, he's great.
Yeah. Another thing is when you add custom widgets there, you go to download. You download the whole app as a zip file and unzip it to locally host on your network, IIS server, or any in the cloud server, you host it by yourself. So most important thing, when you have a custom widget or themes, you need host by yourself, the whole app. Online, right now doesn't take the third-party code there. Portal, we will support it in the 10.5 project so that you can add your custom widget and theme as an extension in 10.5 portal.
Okay.
Get back to Derek.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. So I have 2 quick slides, and then Jinsha is going to finish off with another demo. One thing, well, 2 things really. I don't know if you noticed this, when Jinsha was in Web AppBuilder Developer Edition, it had the same user experience as Web AppBuilder inside Online and in Portal. That's another plus, right? With the exception of just configuring that app ID, once you have that set, as soon as you go in and you decide to build a new app, it opens up the same user experience. But I don't know if you noticed this, that when she initially opened up the app, there were actually a different kind of landing page, and she had templates she could pick from. She could pick a 2D app, a 3D app, or use a predefined template. So this is basically another option that you have in Developer Edition where you can say, you know what, I think I want to build an editing app. Maybe I'll choose the editing template. It opens up Web AppBuilder with some widgets that are pre-selected for you. And you can decide to deploy an app using a template, or at any point in time, you can modify the template and change it. Okay, so and she's going to show that to you in a minute. Something else I wanted to add is if I decide I can use Web AppBuilder and save my settings, and we have what's called an export as template option. Right? So let's say, for example, I go into Web AppBuilder, I've set up the app, and it's using my organization's branding. Maybe I have a green and blue bar, and I have my custom corporate logo. And I want other users who use ArcGIS Online or Portal for ArcGIS to choose my web app that I built as a template option. I can certainly do that. In other words, remember how I was in the inside the ArcGIS Online map viewer? I hit the share button and I saw this list of templates, right? I can actually make an application that I built with Web AppBuilder an option in this dialog window. Or I could actually replace all of these templates with my own custom templates using Web AppBuilder. How do I do that? Well, we have this high-level workflow, right? You choose the export as template option. And this makes a new template item. You then add that to a new custom group. And then in your organization's edit settings, under the map option, you choose this custom group as your template option. And if you were in the Portal for ArcGIS administration session, I demonstrated this for you earlier. Okay. But let's take a look at templates in more detail in Developer Edition. Good? 4, right? I might have hit the wrong button.
So basically,
Sorry.
okay. As a templates, a lot of people are using it because it's very focused workflow, as Derek was saying. For Web AppBuilder, we give you options in either in embedded ArcGIS Online app or in Developer Edition. We have options to export as templates. For example, I open an existing app online. Oh, this is 3D. I go to the save here, they have an arrow here. So export as templates. Then I can pick the logo I want to use and or the widget pool, I want to do widgets. They have legend. Legend, I want to customize the label or make sure it's visible or not. This is my templates. Then I say, okay, just very, very simple. Export. I give a name. So you here, export as web app template successfully. Click here to see details. I go to here. Then I can view my application. Looks like this. All right. So I'll go back to the map. I create a new map. Save. In this case, I'm not going to use Web AppBuilder. I go to Share. I go to Create Web App. I'm using Configurable Apps. I'm search my UC. So UC 2D template I just built right there. Just like other existing templates, it's just using the new one I create web app from there. So you see, this is the map I just create with the templates. I can configure the title. Subtitle, I can put the name there. The user can define it. Legend label visible. I said, no, I don't want to, the legend visible. You can see only left layer list. Legend is gone. So you configure it, save, then launch it. That's your app create from templates. A little bit confusing. So basically, we give you a builder, you create your app, right? Then if you want to have a focused workflow, you can using existing app you built to export as template. Then your user can use that template to put their whatever the map they want to use the existing template has a fixed set of functionality there. They can create their app. The same functionality also available in Developer Edition. As well. So if you go to here, my local Developer Edition, I go to a builder, has the same exactly UI.
Cool.
Yeah, back there.
Okay.
So just play around with it. You will find out. The very cool part is ArcGIS Online does not allow you to have the third-party code, but you can export a fixed set of the templates there, customize the template there. Give it a try, and we have all documentation there. Just go to docarcgis.com/en/Web AppBuilder. You can find all documentation about templates.
Okay. We have a few more slides, so hang in there. I know it's been a long day. So hopefully we got you guys excited about Web AppBuilder, right? Where do I go? What about the community? What are some resources that are available to me, right? Now, as I mentioned, on GeoNet, there's actually two high visible places. One is called Web AppBuilder for ArcGIS. The other one's called Web AppBuilder Custom Widgets. There's actually a third site as well, or place, called Web AppBuilder Custom Themes, which I neglected to put on this screen. Okay? All of them are very active, and they're contributed by many members of the community. We encourage you to go there, and you can put questions. Sometimes I've seen users put requests. Hey, Robert, can you build X for me? And actually, Robert's pretty good. Sometimes he does it if he's not too busy. He's got a full-time job, but it's his hobby. So it's awesome. Another great resource to have if you plan on using Developer Edition, there's this resource list that is owned by a woman named Rebecca Strach. And she works for Department of Natural Resources in Alaska. But I literally goes to GeoNet every day, like 3 times a day, and if there's some new update to Web AppBuilder or Developer Edition, or someone shares a widget, she will update this resource page. So this is like the ultimate one-stop shop to find out what's going on with Web AppBuilder. Sometimes even like faster than what we do, because she monitors the community widgets as well. And I know that whenever we have an update, I always email her and notify her, so she gets that notification. Okay. So quickly then, one quick slide on what's coming. What's the road ahead? Many customers have asked, well, when is the next release of Developer Edition coming? That is coming in 3 to 4 weeks. So we're targeting mid-July. This will have all the new capabilities that were added to the ArcGIS online version of Web AppBuilder last week. And then the other item to note is, with the next major release of Portal for ArcGIS 10.5, the development team has plans to enable you to utilize custom widgets within the embedded version of Web AppBuilder inside Portal. Technically, you could do that today if you go under the covers and modify the code, but if you do that, then you void your tech support agreement because you're modifying the underlying code. Okay, so we're going to mitigate this issue by enabling you the ability to reference custom widgets inside Web AppBuilder, inside Portal at 10.5. Now, we have many other resources available for Web AppBuilder, right? Jinshaw mentioned we have the online help documentation, both for quote-unquote regular Web AppBuilder and Developer Edition. There's a live training seminar that's free, 60 minutes. And there's also a 2 to 4 hour web course, which used to have a cost. But the good news is, as you heard Jack on Monday say, anyone on maintenance is going to have access to our entire education library. Don't know when. Check with your accountant, but it's coming. He made that announcement on Monday, so that's a good thing. All right? If you want to learn more about Web AppBuilder, here are some additional sessions that are still forthcoming. That first one is fantastic if you are a portal administrator and you need to be aware of how to deploy Web AppBuilder in an enterprise environment. We also have one on creating 3D web apps, and then, of course, the customizing and extending session, and also building your first widget in 15 minutes is in a demo theater. These are all happening tomorrow. Okay? Also, please come down to the expo, go to the ArcGIS online area, find Jinshaw and the rest of the Web AppBuilder development team. They want to hear your feedback, or if you have questions, they're willing to answer them. Okay? So to summarize, what did we cover? Right, in the last hour, we talked about Web AppBuilder. Everyone knows what it is and how phenomenal it is. I can see you're all jazzed. It's been a long day, right? But it is great. Give it a try. As you saw, it allows you to build a web app quickly and easily without writing any code. We also talked about customization and configuration options, and we talked about the community resources. Thank you guys very much. Please fill out the survey if you don't mind. Let us know what you'd like to see, and if you have any questions, let us know. Thank you guys, and have a good evening, okay?